Okay. It's only 3 of you guys with me so far. Hopefully some more people will join us, but that means I'm definitely going to need some participation from you guys. Doesn't bother me at all that you had your cameras off, but if I don't get any participation in the chat, I feel like I'm just talking to myself. So I would love for you guys to either unmute your mics and talk to me, or to answer questions in the chat so that I don't feel so all alone here. All right. So I'm looking at these 2 pictures. One picture here is of the Washington Monument. The other one is the Eiffel Tower. Now, if you'd never heard of either of these objects before, if you knew nothing about either one of them, just going off of the pictures, which object appears to be taller? Good afternoon, Nin.
The Washington Monument.
Washington Monument appears to be taller. Let me get that written down. Washington Monument appears taller from the picture. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see this very well, but in each of these pictures up towards the top, there's an ordered pair. So on the Washington Monument picture, it's right here. And that ordered pair is representing the tippy top of the Washington Monument, right there. Can you guys read those numbers? Okay, if you can, type them into the chat for me, because it's really hard to read, and in your book, they're almost impossible to read. What are the numbers for that ordered pair there? Type them into the chat, because I want to get them written clearly. What are the numbers for the ordered pair on the Washington Monument picture? Awesome, thank you, Niles. 1.38 and 12. And when we write an ordered pair, which part comes first, the X or the Y?
X.
X comes first. So I have our X here and our Y here. Similarly, over on this Eiffel Tower picture, we have an ordered pair that is representing the tippy top of the Eiffel Tower, which is actually right here. So here's that ordered pair. Go ahead and type those numbers into the chat. These are a little bit easier to read, at least here. Thank you, Min. 1.7 and 9.56. And again, we've got the X part first, and then the Y part. We want to try to figure out which one of these is actually taller. From the picture alone, it appears that the Washington Monument is taller, but I know when I go take a picture, how far or close I am affects how big it looks in my resulting picture. So if I'm talking about how tall something is, and we've got this XY axis in the background so that I have these ordered pairs, which part of an ordered pair would be telling me about the height of an object? Would that be the X part or the Y part? Which one of those tells me about the height here? Think about which one is your X-axis and which one is your Y-axis.
12.
12 in the first picture. Yeah, our Y value. So in the Washington Monument picture, that would be the 12. And in the Eiffel Tower picture, that would be the 9.56. This is our height. So that's the part of these ordered pairs that I'm paying attention to. If you look down at the bottom of my screen, we've got some information about both of these pictures. It says that the scale for the Washington Monument is 1 unit equals 46.25 feet. I'm going to scroll down a little bit on my picture so that I have some more room to write and work. But I'm going to recopy these ordered pairs for the Washington Monument and the Eiffel Tower. All right, so I need to jot that down off to the side. Oh no, you guys put it in the chat. I can just recopy it from there. Okay. So the Washington Monument, the ordered pair that we had there was 1.38 and 12. And we said this was the part of the ordered pair that was telling me about the height. And then for the Eiffel Tower, that ordered pair was 1.7 and 9.56. And so again, this is the Y. So we wanted this because that's telling me the height. Okay. Now that I've got that part recopied, the scale for the Washington Monument picture is 1 unit equals 46.25 feet. So this is very similar to what we were talking about just a moment ago before class even started. I can make a proportion out of this information, and I can use my proportion either way. I can have this as 1 unit over 46.25 feet. Or I can take that proportion, I can flip it over. 46.25 feet is the same as 1 unit on that graph. I want to find the true height of the Washington Monument. What information do I have about the height of the Washington Monument based on the picture? From that ordered pair. What information do I have about the height of the Washington Monument that came from the picture, from the ordered pair? Look at the ordered pair that I recopied there. What was the height on the picture? Ella, we were looking at page 140. We had these two pictures to go off of. So we had the X part of the ordered pair and the Y part of the ordered pair that was given to us. And I want to know on the Washington Monument picture, what was the height? What number did we have associated with the height of the Washington Monument? Based on just the picture. Yes, the 12. That is 12 units on that Y-axis. They want me to find the height of this, and I'm assuming when they want the height, they don't want just like 12 units. What kind of units do we normally use for the height of an object, at least here in the US? Do we tend to use things more often like meters and centimeters and millimeters, or do we tend to use like feet and inches? Because Washington Monument is located in feet and inches usually. Okay, so we want our answer here to be in those types of units. When I look up here at what they told me, here, I have that 1 unit on that picture is about equal to 46.25 feet. So I'd really like to get my final answer in feet. I was talking to Niles about this a moment ago. Before we actually do this conversion, if I have 5 divided by 5, how does that simplify? What would that reduce to? What is 5 divided by 5?
1.
1. It's going to simplify and give us 1. What happens if I do x divided by x? Five divided by 5, cancel out and give me a 1. What would x divided by x give me?
You will still get 1.
I would still get a 1. Those are going to cancel out and I'm going to get a 1. Units work exactly the same way. If I end up with inches divided by inches, those are going to cancel out and give me a 1. So I'm keeping that in mind because I need to decide which one of these proportions I'm going to use to change it from units on the picture into feet in real life. I'm going to call this proportion A, and I'm going to call this proportion B. Which of those two proportions is going to allow me to cancel out the units from the picture and leave me with feet? You can type it into the chat or you can unmute your mic. Which of those two proportions, A or B, is going to allow me to cancel out the units like I could cancel inches with inches? So same thing, top and bottom. Which proportion would let me do that?
B.
Proportion B. All right, so I'm going to take 12 units. I'm going to multiply this by 46.25 feet over 1 unit. I can take any number I want to and turn it into a proportion by putting it over 1. And then if I multiply straight across, because that's how we multiply our fractions, numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator. Grab your calculators for me. We're going to multiply those two numerators together. 12 times 46.25. Go ahead and do that and type your answer into the chat for me. What do you get if you do 12 times 46.25? Yes, 555. So 555, if I just recopy everything that's there, I have 555 units and feet. Down in the denominator, 1 times 1, I get 1 unit. Right here, this is the exact same thing, top and bottom. And so that is going to cancel out, which means the Washington Monument is how tall? How tall is the Washington Monument?
$555 feet.
555 feet, absolutely correct. Okay. I want to find the height of the Eiffel Tower now. What do we know about the Eiffel Tower based on the picture? What do we know about the height of the Eiffel Tower based on the ordered pair that they gave me in the picture? 9.56, yes. So we have 9.56 units. Look at the sentence that tells me about the scale on the Eiffel Tower picture. What does it tell me about that? What is the scale for the Eiffel Tower picture? So I'm looking up towards the top of my screen, second line down. What do I know about the scale for the Eiffel Tower picture? Yes, thank you, Niles. 1 unit is about 33.9 meters, right here. One is telling me about the picture, the other is telling me what it is proportional to or equivalent to in real life. So I can use that to set up 2 different proportions, and I will use whichever one allows me to achieve my goal. So I could write 33.9 meters over 1 unit, or I could write 1 unit over 33.9 meters. I'm going to label these proportions C and D. Which one of those would allow me to find the true real world height of the Eiffel Tower? C or D, which one is going to allow me to cancel out the units and be left with meters, which would be a real world measurement? C, yes. 33.9 meters over 1 unit. I'm going to multiply these together. So I'm going to take this 9.56. We're going to turn it into a proportion, multiply top to top and bottom to bottom. So I need to multiply 9.56 times 33.9. And tell me what you get when you do that. 9.56 times 33.9. Type it into the chat when you get it. Thank you, Niles. You got 324.084. Up in the numerator, we have units and we have meters. Is there anything that's exactly the same between the top and the bottom that would cancel now? Is there anything that's going to cancel with the way I've written it? Units is going to cancel. We have the exact same thing, top and bottom. So that's going to reduce down and give me a 1. It's going to cancel out. That means the Eiffel Tower is 324.084 meters. I want to think about the original question that was posed. The original question was which of the monuments is actually taller? Do I have enough information to answer that question right now? Can we say for sure that the Washington Monument is definitely taller?
No,
Why not?
because they're not in the same unit.
They're not in the same unit of measurement. Feet is not the same thing as meters. So even though 555 is bigger, it's a completely different unit of measurement. So we need to find some way to convert between feet and meters. I do not need to convert both of these. I either need to take the Washington Monument into meters to compare them, or I need to take the Eiffel Tower into feet to be able to compare them. In your books, just inside the front cover, and you can look this up also, but in your books, just inside the front cover, down at the bottom on the back of the first page, there's a list of some basic conversions. Do you guys want to change the Washington Monument into meters or the Eiffel Tower into feet? Give me your vote on that one. You can either unmute your mic or you can type it into the chat. Do you want to convert everything into feet or do you want to convert everything into meters? Into feet. Okay, so I'm going to write down all of the things that I see in this little conversion chart that's in your book, since I don't have to look anything up for this. Everything that I can see about converting meters, since we want to make the meters cancel out. I see 3 pieces of information here. It says 1 meter is equal to 1,000 millimeters. A little bit further down the page, it says that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. And then the only other place where I see any information about meters, it says 1 meter is approximately, so squiggle instead of equal sign, we're going to use it the same way though, 39.37 inches. You guys said you want to convert everything into feet. I don't see a conversion into feet, but which one of those 3 is going to help me get closer to feet? Which one of those is going to be the most helpful as I try to convert this into feet?
The last one.
Last one. Those first 2, I'm still in metric units. That's not going to help me get closer to feet, but this bottom one will. I can make proportions out of that. I can do 39.37 inches over 1 meter. Or I can flip it over the other way. And I can do 1 meter over 39.37 inches. Either one of those. So I'm going to label these. Let's see, we've done A, B, C, D. I'm going to call these 1 and 2, I think. Which thing are we converting? Are we converting the Washington Monument's height or the Eiffel Tower's height? Which one are we changing? You said you want to take everything into feet. So which one of those are we going to be changing? Which one will be different?
The Eiffel Tower.
Eiffel Tower, yes. All right, so I've got 324.084, and that is currently being measured in meters. I want to multiply that by one of those proportions so that I can get rid of the meters. Which one, proportion 1 or proportion 2, is going to let me cancel out the meters? Will proportion 1 or proportion 2 allow me to cancel out the meters? Absolutely correct, Kyla. Proportion 1. So 39.37 inches is proportional to 1 meter. We said we wanted to end up with feet. That's our goal, so that we can compare these things. But if I multiply these two together, will I be in feet? Am I going to have the unit of feet if I multiply these two together? No. Okay, that doesn't mean that I'm not doing the right thing. We said our meters are going to cancel here because we've got the same unit top and bottom. So I'm looking at inches here, and I want to end up with feet here. What relationship do you know of between inches and feet? What relationship do you guys know of between inches and feet? "12 inches is equal to 1 foot. Yes. Okay, let me pick out a good color here. So 12 inches is the same thing as 1 foot. Or I can write it the other way. 1 foot is proportional to 12 inches. I'm going to label these proportion 3 and proportion 4. Which one of those would I want to multiply by so that I can make my inches cancel and end up with just feet at the end? Which one of those would allow me to cancel the inches and be left with just feet? Proportion 3 or proportion 4? It's way down at the bottom of my screen in pink. Proportion 3 has 12 inches in my numerator and 1 foot in the denominator. Proportion 4 has 1 foot in the numerator and 12 inches in the denominator. Proportion 4. So I'm going to have 1 foot over 12 inches. That's going to let my inches cancel here. So then I'm going to multiply straight across numerator to numerator to numerator, and denominator to denominator to denominator. I know when I multiply across the bottom, I have 1 times 1 times 12. So I'm going to have a 12 still in my denominator here. What would I get in the numerator? You can round this to 1 decimal place. You don't have to carry it out all the way. Tell me what we end up with in the numerator. Round it to 1 or 2 places. I don't care which. So we're multiplying 324.084 times 39.37 times 1. Type what you get into the chat. Give me 1 or 2 decimal places. We can round it. It's fine. What do we end up with? Thank you, Niles. At 12,759.187. It's still over the 12 though, so what do I still need to do?
Divide.
Divide. Let's go ahead and just round this one to a whole number, since we're going to be comparing it to the Washington Monument, and we just want to know which one's bigger. If I take that and I divide it by 12, I get about what? Kyla or Min, either of you guys, anybody? What do I get if I take that 12,759 and I divide it by 12? We're just going to round it off to a whole number since we're just making a comparison. I just want to know which one's bigger. 1063. Thank you, Niles. So 1,063 feet for the Eiffel Tower. So which one's bigger? Which one of these is bigger?
The Washington Monument is bigger.
How big's the Washington Monument again?
555 feet.
555 feet, and the Eiffel Tower is
1063 feet.
1063, so 1,300 or 1,063 feet. Which one's bigger, 500 or 1,000?
1,000.
1,000, so the Eiffel Tower is bigger. Awesome. All right, we are going to look at one more example. We'll probably have to finish it up tomorrow after we're done with presentations, but I do want to go ahead and start looking at it now. If you have your books, it's on page 140. If you don't have your books, you can just, again, copy it down on some scratch paper. We're going to be looking at floor plans for a house. This is kind of like blueprints. When you guys start looking for apartments, a lot of times on apartment websites, if you want to know how it's laid out, where's the bedroom, how does that compare to the living room, they'll have little floor plans drawn out for you. And you want these to be to scale. If they show that the bathroom is as big as the bedroom and it's got a nice big walk-in closet, you would want to see that when you go there. You don't want the picture that they show you to be vastly different. Otherwise, you're probably not going to want that apartment. These are the floor plans for a new home. And it tells me the length of the floor plan. So in this picture, is 2.875 inches. And then the width of the floor plan, so the picture, is 3.3125 inches. So I'm going to label my picture here. It doesn't matter if I get it backwards, but it's just helpful to have some kind of visual representation for myself. So when I look at the picture, this one looks to be longer. So I think this is probably the 3.3125. So I think this is what they're calling the width. I probably would have put it the other way, but which one you call length and which one you call width doesn't really matter. So if that's the width, then this down here would be that other measurement, the 2.875 inches. And I think that's what they are calling the length. Again, it doesn't really matter if I got it backwards. So if you flip it around the other way, it makes no difference in our problem. This is just some way for me to make some comparisons with a visual representation. All right, so our first question here, this first bullet point says if the actual length of the house is 600 inches, what was the scale for this floor plan? So as we've been doing any of our different conversions here, we've been following the same basic pattern over and over. We've been taking our given information, we've been multiplying it by a proportion. That's not the right color at all. There we go. Another word for a proportion is a scale. And we've been using that to find new information. In this case, I'm trying to find the scale. I'm trying to find the proportion. So I'm going to let this given information right here be what they told me up at the top. I'm going to let this be the floor plan info. Would help if I could spell. So the floor plan information gets multiplied by a scale or a proportion. And we use that to find the actual real world measurement. What do we know about a real world measurement here that we could take and substitute in? What do I know about an actual or a real world measurement? I just want to get through this one question. I want to figure out what the scale is, and then we'll wrap it up for today and we'll finish this tomorrow. What real world measurement have they given me that I can use here?
Inches.
Inches. What about inches? Because everywhere I see a measurement here, they're all in inches. Which one's telling me about real world? Like if you were to actually walk in this actual house. I do like that you pointed out that it's being measured in inches. That is going to be really important. What do we have that is a real world measurement about the house, like when it's built and you can walk around it? Would that be the 2.875 inches? Would that be the 3.3125 inches? Or would that be the 600 inches?
600.
600. I can walk around in 600 inches, at least most likely. Don't think I could walk around in 2 inches or 3 inches. All right, we're trying to find the scale, so I don't know what that is yet. Floor plan information. So that 600 inches, is that 600 inches telling me about a length or a width? Which one is that telling me about? Length or width?
Length.
Length. So I'm going to include that over here. 600 inches is my length. If I want to make a comparison to the picture, I need to compare like things, like terms. So I want to compare that to the length in the picture in the floor plan. What did they say the length of the floor plan was? What did they tell you?
2.85, 75 inches.
2.875 inches is also a length. Scoot this over a little bit. There, now I can fit the whole thing in. What operation is going on between the floor plan length and the scale? What is this? What's happening here?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So if I want to get the scale all by itself, what operation could I use to undo that multiplication? What operation would allow me to undo that multiplication?
Division.
Division, yes. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2.875 inches in length. If you do it to one side, you do it to the other side. What do you guys notice is going to cancel out? What's
The
the same?
2.875.
Yep. Over there, the 2.875, the inches and the length, so that I have just the scale left over here. What about on the right-hand side? What would cancel out over there?
The
What
length.
would, the length is going to cancel because that's exactly the same. Will anything else cancel?
Inches.
Inches will also cancel. And then I just need to grab my calculator and I'm going to divide those two things. Let's go ahead and round this to the closest whole number. Let's round this to the closest whole number here. And then we will call it a day. 209 sounds great. I'm going to slap an approximately instead of an equal here. And this is where we will pick up tomorrow. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. The homework, heartbeat hypothesis and answers to slots is due tomorrow night. We'll keep working with some conversions tomorrow and we'll finish up with presentations. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day.